Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation.
Josh.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, man. How's it going, dude? It's Jon Bodan.
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's good to talk to you again.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been a couple years now since I was able to see you guys last, and it's great to be able to catch up now and be able to talk about a brand new album from Halcyon.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, of course, that brand new album from Halcyon is Bloody Yet Unbowed, which is coming out next Friday through Agonia Records. I mean, I've gotten the chance to be able to check out this album over the last week and a half or so, and I just really love where you guys are at right now. It's just, the songs are so catchy, and they got that great heavy, brutal moments that happens at times, but also those great catchy choruses that are going on. I mean, it just sounds like a great patented Halcyon record in 2018.
I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. we felt the same way, so it's good to hear somebody agree.
Awesome. So, with that said, how does it feel to finally have this new Halcyon album coming out almost 4 years to the day after the last album?
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. I mean, it's cool. We're glad it's going to come out, and we can kind of it probably doesn't sound right, but we're kind of move on and take the next step, which is really going to be gearing up to do a tour cycle to support it. But it kind of what happened after KROCKS is that that album was released. We did a number of tours to support it, but they were a little more spread out than we would have liked, and so that kind of put us in a situation where we were going from tour mode to writing mode, and kind of going back and forth. And man, I think the first songs got written about in 2015 or something, if I remember right. And so, we just kind of had to muscle through it. And we had the album completely done, mixed, mastered by the 1st of November of last year. So it's been in the can for 9 months, too.
Oh, yeah. So I can totally imagine that you guys are just so ready to be able to play these songs live. And once the inspiration hits, start working on the next album already.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, I have to say that personally, I'm pretty wrung out as far as my creativity goes, because we really left nothing on the table, I think, when we finished this. So I think it's going to take me a minute to kind of get back into writing mode, but we're definitely stoked about being able to tour on it and just kind of have a new set of songs to jam to. We tested a few out on the tour we just did with Anger and Operation Mindcrime in Europe. They went over really well, but now we can really legit focus on it, which is going to be cool.
And with that, yeah, I mean, that is such an incredible bill that you guys were able to be a part of. I mean, what's that like now looking back on that tour?
It was a lot of fun, man. It was a really good tour. So kind of the way the whole thing came out is that we got booked for that tour last summer, believe it or not. It was really, really early, and that never happened. So we were like, yeah, this will be cool. But it was Angra, and at that point it was Adrenaline Mob, and it was before Adrenaline Mob had that horrible accident. So it was kind of put together as a co-headline tour with us as direct support. And of course, they had that terrible incident, and understandably they weren't on the tour any longer. And what kind of happened from the promoter standpoint was that we didn't know who else was going to get on the bill. And basically, they announced the tour, and we were like, "Oh, it's Operation Mindcrime," and we were just cracking up because we had just done a tour a year before with Queensryche. So we were like, "This is funny," and then Mindcrime came out later. They were like, "We're doing the 30th anniversary of Operation Mindcrime." I'm like, "Oh, that's at that time." So it was pretty crazy, man. It was already surreal playing Queensryche the way we did, and then to pretty much have our set in, and then they go on stage to Anarchy X 20 minutes later or whatever. It was just we can't believe this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that was the last time we were able to talk too. I mean, when you guys played at the St. Croix Casino in Salt Lake, Wisconsin, did our last interview, and seeing Queensryche in that formation, and the next bigger tour that you guys were a part of, opening for the original voice of Queensryche. I mean, you guys have had your fair share of being able to hear some Queensryche songs as of late.
We really have. It's really just funny to me. It's I can't believe this has happened. It was just really weird, but I mean, it was amazing though. And it's so funny because I remember that show at St. Rick's. It was like that snow on the ground, and man, that show where we met, sound was terrible. I remember the sound was atrocious, and they were building the PA like right before doors opened practically. And I remember like our catering, we did catering that night. We got a meal ticket at the buffet in the casino.
Yeah.
So we have pretty much been told by the tour manager, because of the weather, we're like, we got to leave immediately after we play, but we had to get some food before we could push off. So I remember being in my stage clothes, running across the casino, and like just seeing like ladies in walkers or arm walkers and whatever, like, I'm gonna go watch Murder, She Wrote. It's hilarious. So I get over there to get dinner. I hand the lady my ticket, and she's like, well, this is only for $10, and it's $10.32. I'm like, seriously, I like literally just got off stage. Can you not tell? I'm sorry, I need the 32 cents. I'm like, I carry my wallet when I'm on the stage. So somebody had to give me like 32 cents. It was hilarious.
I didn't even realize that they did that over there. I mean, you would think when they give like a meal comp and stuff like that, it would cover 32 cents. I mean, I wouldn't think they would be losing that much money over that.
I know, really. It was just like, seriously, but it's just... That's rock star life, man, right there. That's it.
A good way to pretty much remember close to my hometown. I mean, I originally lived about 10 miles away from there, and now I live in Minnesota, but it was kind of cool being able to go back and see like a good, proper metal tour happening 10 minutes from where I used to live. So, I mean, it was cool to be able to have that aspect, but, you know, just like the other aspects that go into it, I mean, I'm glad that you guys were able to get through it the way that you did. I mean, considering the snow and possibly not even being able to eat because you didn't have your wallet on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was funny, man. That was just like kind of a funny night.
Oh yeah.
For a lot of reasons, but that tour we had a lot of bad weather. We actually had 2 or 3 shows snowed out up in the Northeast, and we had a blizzard between the last 2 shows in I think Montana. It was crazy.
Yeah, but, you know, again, you know, just like it's so cool to be able to see how much you guys have been able to do touring over the last few years. I mean, from like being able to see you guys at Prog Power a few years back to seeing you close to my hometown. And now I'm sure like you guys are starting to work on the tour promotion for the new album and everything. I mean, it's so great to be able to see how you guys are able to travel the world like this and be able to spread the good word of Halcyon Way.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we've definitely worked hard and kind of clawed and scratched, and we're definitely working on some new tour ideas for the new, to support the new album. We signed with new management, the Artery Foundation, in February of this year, and they've just done an amazing job with us. So, yeah, they've got a lot of irons in the fire, and hopefully we'll be able to have something totally solidified to get back on the road, and we'll get an announcement soon, because we don't want to put the album out and then just sit around.
Oh yeah, and that totally makes sense. And I'm, even though that you guys have been sitting on the album for a while, I mean, it's good to know that the fans are going to be getting this brand new. I mean, the fact that you guys were able to do some of the music on the recent European tour, and of course with the album coming out next Friday, just being able to get the name out there and just hopefully get the tour announcements to go along with that. So it's going to be fresh for the fans, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I think so, because it definitely gave us a shot in the arm for purposes of a set list, and we were able to kind of retire a few songs that we loved, but we played a lot, and bring in some new blood and that kind of thing, and it just gave us a little bit of energy.
So with that, I mean, obviously with being able to switch up the sets, I mean, how hard was it to decide what new songs were going to be added into the set?
It was really hard, because we paid a lot of attention during the writing process to make every song just as strong as we could. We wanted every song to be a conceivable single, and we cut a lot of songs that we thought were really strong before we actually got to where we were tracking the record and all. And so when we started trying to put a set list together, it was equally difficult, because you're like, man, I really love this song, or I think this will go over live really well, or whatever, and but you can't play them all.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bands that go out and try to play the whole new album live, but it doesn't always work out the way that it should. So, it's just like, it's hard to be able to decide what are going to be the right singles to be able to show off, if you're going to be playing any songs that are not singles ahead of time. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Mm-hmm. And you got to pace the set and give it some dynamics, some ebb and flow, and you got to make sure that you don't have certain songs next to each other because maybe they've got a similar tempo or something, and it's definitely it's like Tetris.
So with that, I mean, obviously there's been a couple singles that have come out to be able to promote the album. How did you go about deciding what songs were going to be the singles?
It was pretty tough. I mean, we kind of, it started out with Jeff, our new manager, had shopped the record based on 3 tracks. And that's what got us our deal. And we actually got a number of labels kind of bidding for it. And so those, and those were the 3 that he felt were the strongest, because that's kind of what you do. And he sent them Blame, the title track, and then Primal Scrape. And we were like, okay, well, probably needs to be one of those. So we kind of settled on Blame. We were really torn between Blame and Bloody But Unbowed as their single. And we ended up going with Blame because we kind of felt like we had a really unique idea for the video. And we were like, all right, well, it'll be visually cool and it's a great song, so let's start there. And we kind of went from there. But we had advice from the label, we had advice from publicists, we had advice from our radio guy Muncie, and it all just pointed to one of those couple songs.
Yeah, and it's like it's great to be able to see the choices that you did make too, because they do feel like such great, strong singles as well. But it also leaves things open to want to be able to check out the rest of the album too, which is a great thing to be able to do. I mean, it's just like there's, like I was saying before, I mean, there's so many great heavy moments that aren't getting represented on the singles, and there's so many more melodic, mellow moments that are going on throughout the album too. I mean, it's a good ebb and flow that's going all through the entire album.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, yeah, it's funny because I mean, we were all like, man, I want to do this. I want to do a video for this. I want to do, like, personally, I want to do a video for the Church of Me so bad I can't even see straight. I get this amazing idea, and I don't know if we'll ever get to do it, but I really want to do it. But yeah, we were all like kind of all over the map, and it took us a minute to settle on what we were going to do.
Oh, definitely. And with that as well, I mean, I didn't get the liner notes for the album. I mean, I just got the songs and I got the album cover, but I couldn't help but notice some familiar voices that are going on throughout the album. Is that something I should have noticed?
Say that again?
Is that something I should have noticed? Some other familiar voices that are occasionally showing up on here?
That is very true. That is the Nailhead Choir.
and how did that come together?
We pretty much just, we had these certain vocal parts and moments where we were like, man, we really need a lot of voices. And you can do that yourself, and you can stack up your own voice, or you can get a bunch of people to do it as a gang vocal. And it always sounds bigger in that kind of scenario if you get a lot of people. So basically what we did is we started asking people that we were friends with, that we knew through touring or we were just buddies with otherwise or whatever. And everybody was like, yeah, sure. So we got an amazing group of dudes that contributed to it. And it was super fun, just being able to collaborate with somebody else, because, either our buddies or influences or, whatever. So yeah, it's super cool. And we've announced pretty much all of the members except 2 so far.
Yeah, that's why I was being a little elusive, because I wasn't entirely sure who got announced yet or not, but it's like I heard some voices like, oh wow, that's so cool that they were able to be a part of this. And it's just, I'm just like you were saying, I mean, I imagine that's going to be such a great feeling. I mean, whether you're friends with them or you idolize them or you were able to tour with them or whatever the case is, the fact that you were able to get such great voices to help contribute to an album like this.
Dude, it was really cool. Like when I was getting tracks from some of these people, I was just like, man, I can't believe they're slimming it with us. but I say that, but we're friends, so it's cool and all. But yeah, I mean, so we had Matt Barlow, of course, he needs no introduction. We had Ben from Black the Cowboys, Troy from them. We had Norm from Niviane and Magica. Sean, our original singer. Steve and I did vocals. There's a girl here in Atlanta that's well known locally, named her stage name is Babe Animal. She did like the gospel vocals on Church of Me, and she was on a lot of our parts too. And then we got 2 other names that you guys are going to recognize easily that we're going to announce this week. So it's going to be fun.
Oh, that's so cool. And it's great to be able to have something like this too. I mean, especially when you've had the album in the can as long as that you have. I mean, it's good to be able to have like these nice little surprises that are being built up to the release of the album, so you can still have that magic and fire of the album and still be excited for it.
Yeah, we definitely knew that we needed to kind of make a big deal about all those guys, because it was a big deal. I mean, it just was. was. So, you know, we wanted to like thank them individually, and we wanted to try to, you know, promote their projects too, and, you know, just have it be a two-way street. So that's what we wanted to accomplish.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, again, it's so great to be able to see that the album is coming out next week, and, you know, all the touring that's going to be going on with it. I mean, I just imagine, you know, like the fact that you've had the songs going for so long now that they're just going to sound absolutely amazing live.
We hope so. I mean, and the funny thing, man, is that some of this material is really difficult to play, and that mean we won't do it, but it's pretty challenging, because it's like you come up with parts in studio and you're not thinking about playing it live necessarily. You're just like, okay, this is the right part or the right riff or whatever, and then you lay down your vocals, but you're not sitting there playing your guitar or whatever when you're laying a vocal down. And then we'll get some of these parts and we're like, the guitar will be so syncopated against the vocal that you're just going, I can't I can't even. And so you really got to drill it and that kind of thing, which is fun. But we you know, that happens every release. We always get rid of it.
So with that, I mean, was there like any particular moments where it's like it took you a while to get used to when it came to that?
You know, for me, the chorus of Blame is actually pretty difficult to play in certain spots because of the way the vocal flows over the guitar and the drums. There's a particular drum beat that Aaron does in that song, and actually a lot of them on my album, that's kind of hard for me to play to. Like, I don't really feel it the same way I feel other grooves, so I have to think about it a little too much. And, you know, that was one that really took me a minute to not be all, like, slappy and when I was doing my backup vocal. And, yeah, there's definitely a few.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like the more I listen to it, it's like, oh wow, like these parts aren't necessarily working together, but it still really works together. So I can imagine, you know, just like, you know, not necessarily always being able to like lock into the rest of the band, and just like getting your moments going on, whether you're singing or not, over top that. I mean, that's what I really appreciate about Halcyon Ways. Like even if it does go into those different territories, it always does lock in together as a whole, and it just sounds fantastic.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's really, dude, that's really like a thing for us. It's a focus for us, because, you know, there's only so many notes, and there's only so many chords in a chord progression or a key, and every metal riff has practically been written already, you know. So it's like you kind of have to grind out as you write things, and as you grind it out, you have to throw away things that sound too familiar or too safe, but you also can't alienate the casual listener either. So our music is pretty technical, but by the same token, I think pretty much anybody can latch onto it, because it's got the big choruses, and it's not like, you know, in 13/16 or some crazy time signature or whatever like that. It's challenging to make the stuff interesting to play and not boring to play as a musician, but accessible to a listener and in the context of a great song. All that stuff is very hard.
Oh, absolutely. And you also want to be able to go back like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and still be able to appreciate those songs and the riffs that you came up with too. So, you know, the fact that you're able to make a new album with riffs that you can appreciate at the time, and hopefully do last that amount of time, that you're able to play these songs X amount of times live and not get sick of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And, you know, I'll listen back to our older material, and, you know, sometimes I'm like, man, how did I even come up with that riff? It's crazy. And how am I going to come up with a better riff than that? Yeah, it was funny. I was on Spotify the other day. I was listening to some kind of playlist, and it was because I had actually pulled up one of our tracks on there, and one of the singles, and of course plays the single, and then just moves on to whatever random stuff as a gem. And I keep skipping songs. I'm like, it's like a generic prog metal band, why are we in this playlist? And then another song comes on, it's all heavy, and I'm like, oh, it's badass. And then about a second later, I'm like, oh, that's us. And so I cracked up. I mean, I was like, that's funny.
Just curious, what song was that?
The song that popped up was Web Alive.
Nice.
And I had not heard that track in a while, because I don't listen to country, and I was like, I was
Oh, that is just amazing. So, you know, and speaking of that as well, you know, just like, you know, having that inspiration for writing new riffs and making sure that on the next album you can outdo yourself and still be happy with what you're doing. Did you change your guitar setup at all for the new album?
I played the same guitar I always play for tracking my rhythm parts, and we did use sorry about that. We did use a different guitar tone. The last album, I'm pretty sure Lassa used a dual rectifier for rhythm guitars and like a tube screamer, and he got a killer tone. And on this one, Mark, I gave Mark, because we worked with Mark Lewis this time. It was the first time we had worked with him, and I gave him some references on guitar tone. And the reference that I said I want my rhythms to sound like this, it was Resurrection by Chimera. And he was like, "Oh, well, it just so happens that I engineered the guitars on that 10 years ago." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's convenient." So dude knew exactly what he'd used, and I'm pretty sure it was a 5153 and with a Marshall cabinet, and that's what he ended up using on the record. So we tried a bunch of amps out, and that's the one that made it happen.
Oh, that's so cool to be able to, have exactly the tone that you were looking for by the guy that was able to help recreate that tone. That's so cool.
It really was funny, man. I was like, well, what are the odds, right? And live we use something different. I mean, I've got an endorsement deal with Framus, and I actually use Kempers live and Framus cabs, but I've got a Framus Cobra rig at home. I just don't take it on the road because it's tubes and they get knocked around and all. But we use a Framus Kemper profile live, which has got a real similar tone to what was on the album.
And with that, I mean, obviously with technology being able to have that where, you can save all these great tones that you had in mind, or the presets or whatever that is. What is that like for you to be able to go from like having that original tone in the studio to being able to use a Kemper live and recreate that tone?
It's really pretty cool because you can have the same tone no matter where you are or whatever. And the coolest thing about the Kemper, I mean, they sound amazing, first of all. The technology is like, but the deal with it is that, I mean, when we toured Russia, we hopped on the plane and I had a 4-space rack with my wireless and my Kemper in it, and I had my guitar in my other hand. And next thing we knew, we're in Siberia and there's my tone, and we get there and Sabaton, everybody in Sabaton's playing through Kempers, and everybody sounds great, So it's like you have the ability to take your stuff with you literally just right there, and it's amazing technology.
Oh yeah, and it's like it doesn't always come cheap when it comes to being able to get that good quality tone. I mean, whether it's from a Kemper or from a traditional amp formation or whatever the case is, but the fact that you are able to adapt to those situations and still be able to be happy with your tone, especially in 2018, it's so cool to see that.
It really is. I mean, it's like if as a guitar player, if somebody's backlining for you and fly in, you don't know what you're going to get, and you have to just kind of run and gun with it. So you just go, well, I don't really love this sound, or this particular amp sounds crappy or whatever, but you just have to go with it. And you don't really have to do that now, if you've got that kind of rig like the Kemper. So it's quite cool.
Oh, absolutely. And that's also what's getting me excited about seeing what's going to be next for you guys, too, because I can't wait to be able to see the next North American tour that you guys do. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch you guys, whether it be another Prague Power situation, whether I see you guys back at St. Croix Casino, or whatever or seeing you guys here in Minnesota. Whatever the case is, I mean, I want to be able to check out these new sounds live. I want to see that new energy that's going on with Halcyon Way, with being able to promote a new album, and I can't wait to see where you guys are at live now.
I appreciate it, man. We just every time we play a show, we got something to prove. We have a chip on our shoulder, and we go out with smelling blood. That's kind of our attitude, and so we just try to up the intensity every night.
Oh, and that right there, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. I mean, being able to talk about this amazing new album, Bloody But Unbowed, which is coming out next Friday through Agonia Records. Being able to hear the insights of being able to hold on to this album. There's still some mystique that's going on that's going to be released for next week with the announcement of the last two vocalists getting announced, and just waiting for everyone else to be able to check out the album. I mean, it's so great to see where you guys are at right now. I can't wait to see what you guys have got coming up next as far as touring and stuff, and the new creative ideas for the next album once you guys get to that point. I love where you guys are at right now, and I'm so very thankful that you were able to take the time to be able to talk to me again.
Yeah, Josh, dude, I totally appreciate it, and appreciate all the support that you've given us over the years, man. So it means a lot. And really, I guess last thing I'd like to say to the fans that are listening, whether you're a new fan, you just heard the new singles, or you've been with us for years, you please make sure you go out and pre-order the record on Agonia's website or on Amazon or whatever works for you, because those pre-orders help us come out strong week of release, and that helps with chart position, helps with tour support from the label, it helps with all sorts of things kind of behind the curtain in the business. So it's real important for us. So, but we totally appreciate the support, man.